All right, well, welcome back to our study called The Sons of Noah. And today we're looking at verses 6 through 20, which we labeled the facade of strength and prosperity. Let's first talk about Nimrod here. The family of Ham has a lot of interesting people that we could examine, but Moses focuses in on two people here specifically. The first is Nimrod. Now, there has been a lot of ink spilled on Nimrod, that's for sure. There's speculations and extra biblical accounts that you could read about this man. I don't want to wade too far into this, but let me point out just a couple things about Nimrod. First, Nimrod was a mighty hunter and was the first on earth to be a mighty man. Now, there are two main camps that commentators tend to fall into. Some believe that Nimrod was a great hunter of animals and that he protected and provided for the people. So he went out, he's a great hunter, he's collecting all these animals, feeding the people, feeding his family. That's what he does. However, most people believe that Nimrod was an evil tyrant. And that you can pick up from different parts of this text here. It says he was a hunter and some think that really this word has to do with hunting of men, not hunting of animals. The phrase before the Lord is sometimes used in the Bible to talk about someone who is in opposition to God. So that makes sense. If he's hunting people, and he's doing this in front of the Lord, and really thumbing his nose at the Lord, that's a problem. In fact, the Septuagint translates before as against the Lord. So the Septuagint saw, when the Greek translators translated the Hebrew Old Testament into Greek, when they translated it, they saw that that Nimrod was doing these things against the Lord. It says that Nimrod formed a kingdom, and one of the chief cities was Babel. Many think that Nimrod was the chief instigator or architect of the Tower of Babel, that he kind of got everyone together, and we'll see that in the next chapter, that whole story there. But suffice it to say, Nimrod was a mighty leader. It says he started his kingdom there, so he was ruling over people. And that's who this man was. He's a mighty man. And if he was that kind of a tyrant, kind of going after people, he was the first guy to really do that. Before they were kind of, everyone just was in their family, in their clan, and the families ran themselves. Here you have a guy who's kind of setting himself up over others, over other families. And a kind of interesting guy to think about. You can read a bunch of other stuff about him if you want to. But the Bible doesn't say too much about Nimrod. But we know that he was a mighty man and that he had a kingdom. One side note, if Nimrod was such a mighty hunter and intelligent and prosperous man, obviously, why do we use Nimrod as a derogatory term for someone who's a fool or who's weak? We say, oh, don't be such a Nimrod. You've heard of that before. Well, I did a little research and found that of all places, it really comes from the Looney Tunes cartoons, where Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck sarcastically call Elmer Fudd Nimrod and a little hunter. I remember seeing the episode of that short, and you got Elmer Fudd hunting them down, and they go, look at Nimrod, a little hunter, and they call him a little hunter, and they're using it sarcastically, making fun of him, like Nimrod was this mighty strong man, and here's Elmer Fudd. Yeah, that's sarcasm. So that's where it really has come from. So if you heard someone called someone else a Nimrod, that's where it's coming from. Looney Tunes. And from the Bible, eventually, but that's where it came from. So that's Nimrod. Guy who sets up, we'll see a little bit more what happens in Babel, in the town that he sets up, in the city he makes, and we'll see what happens with that tower, too, in the next chapter. So keep that in mind. But let's move on to the next part, which is looking at the Canaanites. So the second emphasis is on Canaan for obvious reasons here. But look at these people and where they lived. They lived in the land of milk and honey, the Bible talks about. It was a prosperous land. It specifically mentions the land near Sodom and Gomorrah, which is where Lot will choose to go because of its lush plains. Lot sees Sodom and Gomorrah, and he's like, wow, man, this place is awesome. So he chooses to go there, and you have these people of Canaan on the other side of wherever Sodom and Gomorrah actually is, there's debate about that too, and we can talk more about that when we eventually get to that. But anyway, the land around that area had some lush plains. Obviously, that's where Lot wanted to go. That's why he chose it. Like, wow, this place is great. So, think about it. The Canaanites. These are the people that are supposed to serve the family of Shem. Okay, these are the ones that have this curse that they're going to serve. They're going to be the servant of servants. So, here they are living in this nice place. When Joshua sent and Caleb and the other spies go into land, they come back like, wow, this place is awesome. Where the Canaanites live is great. They got all this stuff. Look at these huge grapes, and it's amazing. So, but think about it. Where are the Semites living at the time that this was written? They're wandering in the wilderness, right? They don't have a home. They're just wandering around out in the wilderness. They're not in those plains. They're not in that great land. Where are the Canaanites? In the promised land. How could this be? Where is the promised blessing? Did God make a mistake? That's what I'm sure the people were thinking about. I mean, why are we out here and the Canaanites are still living in the great place? How is this working out? How is this curse and blessing thing really working out? Well, one of my favorite psalms is number 73. And that psalm asks the same questions. Asaph had served the Lord, but all he sees is the wicked getting healthy and rich, while all he gets is insults and poverty. Why is that? Why does he get the short end of the stick? Here he is. He says, am I serving have I kept my way pure for nothing? Has it been all vanity? Is it just waste? Is trying to serve God just, garbage now? Because nothing's working out the way it's supposed to, the way I think it should be. That's probably the questions that the people of God, as they're out in the wilderness and they see the people dying, the mighty men, the fighters, who were alive at the beginning of the wandering are now all dying off, and what's going on, Moses? Is this real? Is this truly happening? Are we going to die out here in the wilderness, and these Canaanites who are supposed to be our servants are living in our land? What's up with that, Moses? So next time we'll look at verses 21 through 32, and we'll look at how God has chosen them for favor. And we'll see how that works out.